I was speaking about the defence there. Chelsea, hands down, has got the best defensive record this season, last season as well. They were incredibly impressive. And they haven't just got their defenders defending as well. They got the defenders attacking. Reece James is someone, and I love the fact that Dembaba credited Frank Lampard on laying the foundations, because it was yourself, Jody, as well as Frank, who promoted Reece James to the first team. But his improvement have been phenomenal, really. Scored 5, assisted 5, and is really a sensational player. Did you see that in him when you first promoted him?
Yeah, I mean, we've always felt that there was a huge future ahead of Reece. I mean, Alex will know, having played with him a bit at Wigan as well, that he's a tremendously talented individual, and not only can he defend, and he's physically very strong, so he's difficult to go up against. He can also attack with tremendous technical ability, whether he's setting up for people to score or whether he's scoring himself. I mean, I've always said that he's one of the best finishers. When you're doing finishing sessions at the end of training, he's always up there or thereabouts as far as winning. And not only can he, as I said, deliver a great cross, he can find the back of the net with different types of finishes as well. He can have a tremendous amount of power, and he's also got the delicate touch. But the fact that Chelsea are building so well from the back and able to get up the pitch and keep the territorial advantage and keep other teams in their defensive half, it's helping players of the calibre of Reece to get closer to the goal. And if he's getting closer to the goal, he's got an opportunity to score.
Alex, when you were playing with him at Wigan, what's been different to the Reece James now? What's changed about his game? Because in midweek, he was practically unplayable at times, really.
Not much has changed, really. I think Reece is one of them players who just grabs every opportunity that's put in front of him. He's got so many attributes to his game. I played with him at Wigan when he was 18, and he's a physical beast. He's so strong, like Jody's just said. Defensively, he's excellent, and then offensively, he's just as good. He's an all-round player. He's got a wonderful right foot. He can score goals. He can play in midfield, he can play right wing, he can play right back, centre back, he can play a number of positions, and he has a wonderful appetite and a wonderful temperament as well. So it hasn't surprised me at all how well he's done this season, and the stats back it up. I think he's got 4 goals, 4 assists, one of the leading fullbacks in world football in terms of stats at the minute. So yeah, he's doing great.
I think that's what you have to also admire, is that it's all right talking about a young player when he plays in the youth team and he can play centre mid, can play wing back, right back, centre half. When you can actually step up to first team level, whether it be in the Championship or whether it be a top Premier League team or even internationally, Reece has done it. Even for the England team the other day, he came on and played centre midfield, or they moved him into centre midfield. It's like the level of quality that he has in so many different positions is going to be, I'm sure, utilised by not only the England team but whoever's in charge of this player for the next 15 years.
That says a lot about his temperament as well, though, Jody, doesn't it? For such a young lad at such a young age to be able to do that, it's hard enough for a player 28, 29, 30 years of age to go and do it, but to do it at his age as well, on whatever stage he plays on, is phenomenal.
And it's not just him as well. I'm sure Reece James will be very much of a threat here today against Manchester United, because that left side of Manchester United is very prone to error. So that's one area that he can really, really exploit here today. But it's not just Reece James today, Jody. You've got the likes of Mason Mount, you've got Trevor Chalobah. These are all the groups that you were manager when Chelsea won the FA Youth Cup back in 2017, the class of 2017. Now, it may not be very fair to compare it to maybe class of 92, but it would really give a run for its money. But what was so special about this group?
Well, do you know what? I think they all pushed each other. I mean, if you're talking about that group there, even when they did play, Callum was still only, I think he was an under-16 Hudson-Odoi in that final. So they all pushed each other. You had your Chalobahs, and like you said, even the year after that, we actually won more the year after that with the players. But as you can see, that at the moment you've got Tuchel is giving Trevor Chalobah a run in the team, which is, you have to say, a huge credit to Thomas Tuchel, because Trevor was one of the ones that has gone on loan and maybe not had such a successful time as maybe people like Reece and Mason when they went out on loan, and Colin Gallagher's. So the fact that he's been in front of the manager, and I've always said I'm a massive believer in giving homegrown players a chance. And sometimes it's just having a manager that wants to look at the younger players is such a tremendous thing to have, because you've had some that have been in charge of some top teams and some top players before, and they're just not interested. And the fact that Thomas Tuchel has brought Trevor Chalobah in, albeit from the, I mean, I spoke to Trevor in the summer and he thought he was going to be going on loan again, and it might be in the Championship. So you have to give Tuchel massive credit to not only take a proper good look at Trevor, but then to give him his opportunity. And then, as we was talking about Reece James taking opportunities, Trevor's gone in there. And when you're playing with world-class players and a world-class manager, you've got a fantastic chance.
It's not just credit to Tuchel, though. I think, Jody, you're being a bit humble there. A lot of credit to you as well, having worked in the Chelsea Academy setup for so long, because for the longest time, and you may correct me on this, but the perception is that, and the criticism is that Chelsea were buying young players with the purpose of really just loaning them out, really. It's quite rare. I would say maybe think back 10 years or so, it was quite rare to see Chelsea youngsters really given the opportunity in the first team. But we're seeing that a lot now. And a lot of it is the fruits and the hard work of what you and obviously what your colleagues, your ex-colleagues have been doing in the past in the setup.
Yeah, I mean, Neil Bath, the head of the academy, deserves a huge amount of credit. He's been there a long time, and at some times during his spell there, I'm sure he felt he was banging his head against a brick wall. But luckily, we was put in a position where we could promote a lot of the good players that the club has had in the academy. And not only that, it got a bit of a bad rap sometimes because so many players were out on loan. But some of those players that did go out on loan, they wouldn't have been to the level that you need to be at to go in and play in the first team with Chelsea if they hadn't experienced some of the first team football that they did with the likes of Alex at Wigan, with Reece James. But there's different paths for different players, and some are able to go in at a really early age, and some need maybe a little bit longer to try and develop, and some just need an opportunity, whether it be a manager giving them an opportunity, or whether it's maybe spending a certain amount of time with certain coaches. But there's certainly a lot of good work that's gone on at the academy over the years, and it's great to see it, like you said, coming to fruition at the minute.
Yeah, Rennie, I mean, you worked with some of the class of 92. Can you see a little bit of that class of 92 in this class of 2017?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what Jody is saying, you know what it is? It's a balancing act. You know, when you get young, talented players coming through, you know, with young players who's got, talent and bags of potential, they need to get the right platform and the right opportunity to showcase that. But the managers, all the managers are all under pressure. You know, whether it's going to go from the Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. And if then the results, the performances not go your way, it's always the young players that suffer first. You know, because, and that is why you see a lack in the English game in general, a lack of really good young players being given opportunity. It's fantastic that has been going on now at Chelsea. Obviously, we know the likes of McTominay and Rashford, and obviously they're now a bit older, but Greenwood and all those young players at Manchester United given those opportunities. But it is all results related, and it's a balancing act. There's too many young players going to waste in England because of the animal, which is called the Premier League, because the demands are that high. And as soon as a manager is under pressure, Liverpool does the same with Klopp. He's got a few good young players, Curtis Jones and a few others that are coming in, and they're giving opportunities. We know how Pep Guardiola managed Phil Foden, and there's another few. But the results and the performances are paramount. And if they are not there, then the young players will suffer. But it's great to see that those young players that have made it, they are really now coming through. And that is what needs to happen at those clubs.
Yeah, Rennie responsible as well for a few of those youngsters.